Hello everyone, Jarek Defiler here with an explanatory list of gaming jargon for the masses. This will be done over the course of a few videos, as putting them all into one would require a fairly lengthy project. I'll be categorizing this under my Games for Non-Gamers section, as most experienced gamers will probably be familiar with these terms, so this is more for those who aren't gamers or are just getting into the medium or are confused to high hell at what people are saying in the chats or screaming in their ears. Hopefully this will clear up some of said confusion and give those unfamiliar with gaming lingo some clarity into what the actual fuck we're all talking about. So sit back, relax, and adjust them headphones as we dive deep into the jargon of the gaming realm. In this video, let's start with the basic and perhaps the most commonly used terms in PvP matches. That's player versus player for you noobs out there, and noob means a newbie to the game. I can tell already that this is going to take a while. So here we go! GG. This is one of the most used terms when it comes to gaming with other players. GG just means good game or great game. It is most commonly used at the end of a match with other players, be it playing against them in PvP or with some cooperatively in PvE, player versus environment. It is considered polite and good manner to end a match with GG whether you win or lose. Good sportsmanship and all that. After all, no one likes a douchebag, unless it's Cartman or Master Shake. However, GG can also have a negative connotation. For instance, if used early in a match or at the start of one, it is generally considered sarcastic, as those who say it are pretty much claiming that the match is over due to their team losing or dominating. It is considered rude to be used in this manner, but it can be used in this way for humorous reasons as well. That's a bit more rare. GLHF. This stands for good luck, have fun, another positive term. Unlike GG, GLHF is always used at the start of the match. The player is simply wishing everyone to have a good time. One says GLHF to instill a positive energy into the match and give the atmosphere a positive vibe. It's admirable. I, for one, never use this term because I do not want to wish the enemy team good luck. I want them to lose, and thus the worse luck they can get, the better for me. Still, I want everyone to have fun though, so the more slender HF is warranted, I suppose. Noob. As stated before, the term noob is spawned from newbie and refers to a player that is either new to a specific game or to gaming in general. It is commonly used as an insult or just a means of classification. I often call myself a noob publicly when entering a new game and thus usually get assistance from veteran players. But if you're a veteran and you make a stupid mistake, then you may be called a noob as a humorous insult. This is fun to use in real life as well. Next time your boss makes a mistake with some paperwork or something, go ahead and call them a noob to their face and you can both just laugh and laugh. PvP. Again, PvP is just player versus player. These are games where players compete with each other. These are perhaps among the most popular games as they tend to be the most fast-paced and garner the biggest players and audience for esports. Genres of the most popular PvP games include RTS, MOBA, FPS, fighting, racing, and CCG. I'll explain these terms in detail in the genre video coming down the road. ESPORTS. Speaking of, esports simply stands for electronic sports. Over the past decade or so, esports has boomed as a business, bringing in hundreds of thousands to millions of viewers at various tournaments, conventions, and even arenas. I mean, look at this shit. Insane. Esports are virtually always PvP and entail players or teams duking it out for cash rewards, trophies, titles, and more. Esport events tend to be lavishly grandeur in their presentation with a spectacle of lights and stage presence to get the audience hyped. Some winnings of a few esports tournaments can reach into the millions. This ain't your average playing in your mom's basement kind of deal. Some of these kids make hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars a year just playing video games, albeit exceptionally well. Personally, even with that much money on the line, it's hard for me to take esports seriously. Still, I can't help to tip my hat to them. They're doing their thing and I can respect that. And some esports can be enjoyable to watch for the average Jane or Joe. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. You know, no worries, each to their own. One man's diarrhea, mucus balls, another man's milkshake, that sort of thing. Ladder. In the gaming world, a ladder is a system used to rank players by their performance and skill level or just their commitment to grind. More on grinding in another video. The idea is the better the player performs or the more they commit to playing, the higher up the rung they go with the goal of being numero uno. Not my cup of tea really, as I play games more for relaxation and fun, but a lot of gamers like the competition and striving for a goal. Overpowered or OP. Very common term used to define something that is absurdly strong in the game to the point that it trivializes other aspects in said game. This could be a character ability, a character in general, or a weapon or piece of armor, among other things. This is a common problem in many PvP games where stats and abilities are present, as it tends to screw with the meta and throw everything out of whack. And if you're Blizzard Entertainment, for example, you may swing that pendulum back in the opposite direction with the force of a dying star, leading to a never-ending nightmare cycle of balancing issues. NERF. To nerf something is to weaken it in some way. Usually this entails changing a character's skill, ability, or stats in an attempt to make them more balanced. It could also be done on items in a game such as weapons or armor. Nerfing is a consistent part of balancing PvP games with varied stats, mechanics, abilities, etc. Buff. Buffing is the opposite of nerfing. It means to strengthen a character item or skill/ability in the game. Just like nerfing, buffing is done in an attempt to achieve balance. Note the word attempt here, as a huge problem in many PvP games is the endless cycle of nerfing and buffing things in the game that constantly creates new metas. Meta. Maybe I should actually explain what a meta is. In the gaming world, the meta is the optimal standard at any given time. It's usually introduced in top-level play in PvP games, where the top players in the world set a precedent by implementing specific team builds, character choices, or skill templates that dominate any other options. This then trickles down to the rest of the player base, who then may adopt said builds or try and find ways to play around them. Due to the nerfing and buffing cycle, metas in most PvP games are constantly shifting and changing from patch to patch. RNG. This is a very important term used in the gaming industry. RNG stands for Random Number Generator and took root in the Dungeons & Dragons dice rolls of old. RNG refers to the random factor in a game's mechanics, be it critical strike chance, bartering systems, card draw, hit chance, crafting affixes, persuasion checks, and more. RNG has played an integral role in video games. It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It can make or break a game, but at the end of the day, it's almost always a necessity in some shape or form. Just pray it's done right. NPC, non-player character. NPCs are just the AI characters in a game. They can be allies, enemies, monsters, animals, robots, elves, whatever. Basically, any character in the game that isn't a real player or player controlled is an NPC. Simple. NPCs are prevalent in many PvP games despite the focus being on player competition. XP, experience points. This is what the player collects in order to level themselves up and become stronger. In a PvP setting, this is often a race to get more XP than the enemy player or team so you can be stronger whenever you have an engagement. Depending on the game, there are many ways of collecting XP. Some may require you to kill non-player minions, others may require you to kill players themselves, some may require you to just complete quests. It all depends on the game. Casual. Casual refers to gamers, games, or gaming experiences that mostly entails playing for fun rather than super seriously or competitively. Casual games are those that are fairly simple, easy to get into, and not particularly complex. Casual gamers don't get too steeped in lore or mechanics and generally just hop on the computer for an hour or two to relax. They don't mind losing that much and aren't too worried about playing optimally. Generally, casual gamers are more naive when it comes to the gaming industry, as they simply do not care enough to delve into it. Nothing wrong with that, some people just want to chill. Hardcore. Opposite of casual, hardcore refers to games, gamers, or gaming experiences that takes games very seriously as an entertainment medium. Hardcore games tend to be very complex, grindy, or difficult, not only to get into, but to play. Hardcore gamers tend to be among the more competitive and get frustrated or even rage when they lose because they strive for optimal success in their matches. They're the kind of gamer that plays several hours a day and spends time researching optimal builds and strategies in order to enhance their skill and performance. Usually hardcore gamers practice hard to get ahead and are the ones that dominate ranked ladders. Unlike casual gamers, the hardcore crowd is deeply involved in the gaming industry, usually by participating heavily in social media, forum discussions, attending conventions, or reading and participating in developer blogs and podcasts. They know the games, they know the lore, they know the mechanics, they know the history, and they will bury you if you tread on their gaming world. Alright, that should just about cover the basics. Nice little introduction for the masses. Hopefully this helps some of you out there that were a bit lost in the lingo, because you have to remember that the gaming community is just that, a community. Sure, there's different subgroups of said community, but they still all kind of speak the same language, if you know what I mean. Next video, we'll take a look at the major genres of gaming, so be sure to like, subscribe, and share if you wish, as it helps out the channel and keeps you up to date. You all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are. This has been Jarek Defiler taking a look into gaming jargon. Take it easy.